Well, my name is Michael Falter. I'm Program Director here at Pickford Film Center, and I also teach film at Whatcom Community College. But in terms of the marketplace, what's developed is this sort of bifurcated kind of idea of censorship. So the mainstream cinema has this very strict rating system. And then there's this whole alternative network that we call art house theaters, like what we are. And so foreign films, independent films, any film that doesn't want to go through the MPAA system, because they know that it's going to be slapped with an R for no reason, or they just don't want to spend the money to go through that process, they'll just release it not rated or unrated. And so for me, it kind of almost provides a situation where those films, people know that the only place you're going to see it is at an art house. Hollywood's always had a very interesting relationship with the U.S. government as opposed to other countries, and part of that has been a history of self-censorship. And so if you go back to the code years with the Hays Code and what developed, post 1931, I mean, that glorious time between 27 and 31, the pre-code years, there are some amazing films, and you have this sort of spirit, I think, in Hollywood where you could go in so many different directions, and you could have realistic depictions of relationships and sex, and language wasn't so much an issue at the time, but portraying characters who were glorifying violence or glorifying bad deeds. And all those things sort of ended up getting completely whitewashed once the Hays Code was in effect. Where I don't like the MPAA is when they essentially promote violence over healthy relationships and honest looks at, whether it's male and female, heterosexual relationships, or gay and lesbian relationships. They tend to really come down hard on sex and any kind of transgressive relationships. And that's where I feel like they are kind of missing the boat in terms of, what's really doing more damage. And the whole process isn't fair. I mean, it's completely hidden from public, any kind of public view. We don't know really who's on the ratings board. We don't know their educational background, their political ideology. It's obviously, if they were just more transparent, I think people would have more faith that they are actually evaluating these films honestly. As it is, it feels like they are restrictive in the wrong ways. The marketplace has to have some way of judging what's appropriate for different age levels. I would never want my own children to see a certain film until maybe they are old enough to understand it, to protect your children. I don't think they're doing a very good job of promoting nonviolence. I guess it really comes down to what needs to be censored, and I think make no mistake that the MPAA is, even though it's a volunteer organization and Hollywood voluntarily submits to it, it is censorship. Personally speaking, I totally believe that the European method is far more enlightening in terms of actual situations and relationships. I mean, like, hands down. Realistic portrayals of real-life violence can be very powerful, and I don't know if it's the rating that bothers me in that case or the lack of dialogue. Film has always been a mirror of society. It's been a cracked mirror. It doesn't always include everybody in society. You can, i.e., look at African Americans on film, Latinos on film, Native Americans on film. But regardless, it is the journey of our ideological progression as a country, as a people, both nationally and internationally.